Well, after 22 rounds of NPLW Victoria regular season action, it all comes down to the next 2 weeks to see who will be crowned the NPLW Victoria champion. Hello and welcome to BT Connor Reserve in Melbourne's north, where it'll be Preston Lions hosting the Essendon Royals in a game that is incredibly difficult to predict. The two sides finishing equal on points on 45, second and third on the regular season table. Two sides that have come out of the normal powerhouses that we've seen in this competition over the last few seasons. And an opportunity for either side to appear in their first ever NPLW Grand Final. My name is Taryn Heddo on commentary. Joining me this evening is A-League Women's commentator Georgia Rajic. Georgia, what are you expecting out of this game tonight?
Well, it's been a remarkably tight affair between these two sides throughout the season. You know, they had that 2-2 draw at this very venue 2 weeks ago. So I'm expecting goals from both sides, but I'm expecting it to be remarkably tight between both of them.
Well, remarkably tight indeed, and of course a reminder that if these sides cannot be split after 90 minutes, we will be going to extra time and indeed very possibly penalties. As the two sides get into their huddles, it's a great opportunity to take you through the lineups that will be contesting this semi-final this evening. For the home side, Preston, coached of course by Dan Foden. They line up as follows: number 1 in goals, Charlotte Ray-Horrison; number 2, Jade Feeks; number 6, Elle Talevsky; number 8, Miri Nishimura; number 14, Mebe Tanaka; number 15, Emma Checker; number 17, Ellie Lamont; number 22, Eva Harrington; number 24, Hayley Johnson; number 37, Susan Fonsonkam; and their captain, number 50, Georgia Henderson. That means on the bench for Preston today is number 9, Molly May Ramsey; number 11, Ellie Vlamink; number 16, Lani Giudice; number 20, Summer Caponecchia; number 35, Talisa Soto; and number 55, Dakota Tyson. For the visiting side, the Essendon Royals, coached by Vince Battiato. They line up as follows: number 1, their keeper, Beth Mason-Jones; number 2, Marie Rampal; number 4, Michaela Jurcic; number 9, Raquel Durales; number 11, Ava Grober; number 14, Rihanna Amia; number 15, Mia Lancieri-Bartley; number 20, Kendra Smith; number 21, Emma Robers; number 23, TJ Vlanic; and number 30, Olivia Ristevski. On the bench for Essendon is number 6, Danielle Marshall; number 7, Kat Goff; number 8, Emily Sutcliffe; number 13, Philomena Delic; number 19, Eloise de Ruyter; and number 24, back from injury for this evening's match, Audrey Osler. The referees for this evening's clash: the central official is Jock Quartermain. He's assisted by Claire Green and Emma Borschman. The fourth official today is Vlatko Trajczewski. So it will be the home side, Preston, who will get us underway. Their top goal scorer for the season, Hayley Johnson, the American, with 18 goals. She'll be looking to add to that this evening. All set to go in this all-important semi-final, and we are underway at BT Connor Reserve. Which side will make history, making their first ever NPLW Grand Final, and which side will go home disappointed? Georgia, it is all to play for tonight.
It really is, and considering, 2 years ago both these sides were not in the NPLW, it's a remarkable rise for both teams to really get behind their women's program in such a strong way.
Preston trying to get on the attack early. Johnson pressing high, but Beth Mason-Jones in the Royals' goal. So experienced, still only 26 years of age, but with multiple seasons at A-League women's level. One of the best keepers in the league, no doubt. Preston keeping possession in the Royals' half. And that diagonal cutout, Kendra Smith not able to control for the Royals. Rampal instead will be the player to gather and try and hoof it up the line. Durales in the number 9 shirt. Looks like she is playing in that traditional number 9 role tonight as well as the centre forward. Often this season we have seen Audrey Osler in that role, but is starting on the bench tonight on account of those injury troubles. Of course, these sides have met twice this season in the home and away season. The Royals coming out 2-1 victors the first time at Cross Keys Reserve, and then only a few weeks ago that 2-2 draw here at BT Connor. There's really not a lot to separate these two sides.
Absolutely not. And as you touched on in the pre-game, Taryn, as well, the fact that both these sides finish in equal points, just astride each other on the ladder, really came down to those final minutes in the home and away season to decide where either team was going to finish up. Of course, Royals had that 2-2 draw last week against Alamein. We're leading 2-1 for majority of the match as well. Really, we're on the front foot. And of course, well, we saw Heidelberg versus Preston last week, but
the balls come out for Essendon. It looked dangerous. TJ Vlanic was the player who committed the handball offence as it bounced up onto her arm. Ball was ricocheting around the Preston defensive line, and one of the things that Preston have to do tonight if they are to be successful is to control the chaos. And the ball bouncing around like that is not something that they will like to see early doors.
Interesting to see that with Olivia Ristevski playing in today's game, that TJ Vlanic is playing a little bit further up the field. We know how creative she can be for the Royals as well. She was the scorer of that first goal, so interesting to see her play more an attacking role this evening.
Ball whipped in from Georgia Henderson. No one in the middle waiting, so Ristevski will hoik it away. Lamont, though, back into the danger zone, and it's not able to be controlled by Susan von Sonkam, who was the player lurking.
I can't help but feel that Preston have started on the front foot in this game, just seem to be the little bit more composed and looking to move forward with a bit more pace. Essendon Royals really have had to go back quite a few times defensively in the opening couple of minutes.
Here come the Royals pressing forward. Amia and Rovers look to play a big role controlling the centre of the park. Appeals for handball waved away by Jock Quartermain, the central official. And Preston, of course, the top goal scorers in the regular season. Essendon quite a fair way behind, only 40 goals to Preston's 67. But the Royals have found a way to grind out results throughout the season. They'll have an opportunity from a set piece now because TJ Vlanic has been collected by Tanaka. Looks to be in a little bit of pain here. Hopefully nothing more than a contact injury. It has turned into a bit of a chilly night in Melbourne's north. The day started out sunny, a bit of a spring sunshine in the air. But as the clouds have emerged and night has fallen, it has cooled down significantly. Here's Vlanic to take the free kick that she earned. Whipping the ball in. An Essendon shirt met the ball, but it was cleared away by Preston.
So when these two sides faced each other 2 weeks ago, it was, of course, a TJ Vlanic corner that led to the first goal for Royals. Came off Ali Lamont's head. It was put down as an own goal, but interesting to see TJ Vlanic again playing that more advanced role. Will be on a lot of duty this evening for, dead ball situations.
Fancy footwork from Sonkam. Eva Harrington was urged forward by her keeper, Ray Horrison. Could hear that one from up here on the scaffolding, but instead decided to play it back and maintain possession. Emma Check has gone on a little run up the pitch as well. Von Sonkamp trying to find Tanaka, but Ristevski did very well, the 16-year-old. Von Sonkamp. Well, it's picked up by Doralis. Doralis goes central to Amia. Amia out wide. And that ball well dealt with by Preston. Can they break quickly here, Preston? Tanaka not able to keep the ball in on that occasion. Royals trying to find some space. Vlanic. So effective up that flank. That ball, though, the wrong decision on that occasion. This is where, for the first time, we really get to see this organisation of the Royals press. They've been very good this season, winning the ball high up the pitch. And of course, a press isn't just about what happens when you win the ball. It's about the lead up to it. It's about cutting off passing options. It's something that the Royals have done really, really well.
It really has been, and I felt like almost last week Alamein had their number taken with that. So it's good to see it back in play against Preston now.
Henderson. And that ball amounting to nothing. I think the idea was to hit the feet of Hayley Johnson. Just too much sauce on the ball. Doralis trying to find the ball at her feet. Ristevski was following up, but it was cleared away. Of course, Preston having no less than Emma Checker at the back. 7-time Matilda. Certainly helps with that defensive organisation, let alone her individual skills. Now retired from the A-League Women, still only 28 years of age though, so plenty to give to this competition and to help the next generation along and the players around her.
A remarkable leader for a lot of these players in the competition and from her own team as well to learn from. Again, Ristevski, who is playing at the moment in that left fullback role for Essendon, so young, only 16 years of age. Really interesting to see how she's also settling into these big game moments. Almost look like she's given away a few early fouls that could come back to haunt her. So to have someone, a player as well as TJ Vlanic's experience and quality on her side, also just to probably give some guidance in those moments. You could see Vlanic also drop back to help out defensively earlier on.
Overlapping run from Ristevski. Received the ball from Vlanic. Looking to cut inside. And instead has the ball taken away. So Tanaka searching for options. Lamont can't get there ahead of the Royals' defence. Good awareness from Lancieri Bartley. Both sides with recent experience of cup finals. Of course, Preston falling to Bulleen in the recent Nike FC Cup final this season. Last season, Essendon Royals winning the Community Cup. And indeed, it was the likes of Ristevski. Actually took a penalty in that game. She was 15 at the time. Managed to put that away and get them the win on penalties. So even though these sides are new to NPLW finals, they do know their way around finals in general. Here come the Royals. Well marshalled out by Eva Harrington. And it'll be the Royals who have the first corner of the evening.
Again, this Harrington on Grober matchup is really interesting. Grober, we can know how much space she loves to run into, hold up the ball. Seems like she's really cutting off any of those runs early. So it's been effective to start, but of course we're still pretty early into this match itself. But we are down the exact same side of the pitch that we saw Vlanich's corner go in 2 weeks ago. So are we in for a repeat of that, or have Preston, short up the defence after that 2 weeks ago?
Well, you'd think set pieces would have been something that Dan Foden would have focused on, and see how this one goes. Vlanich whips the ball in, headed away at the front post that time by Lamont. It'll come back out to Vlanich. Lamont is there. Although an ambitious run up the line has been cut out by Vlanich, which has given the Royals another opportunity. Well gathered by Ray Horrison, decisive. And she has to be tonight, the young goalkeeper, only 18 years of age. It's about making those catches and really staking a claim over her penalty area.
And so impressive for a player as young as she is. And, how many Team of the Week appearances had she had this season, come across from FB, emerging in the off-season. I think a really smart decision for the Preston Lions. She's been really impressive for them.
Jurcic's ball intercepted. Lamont looking to switch play. Tanaka can't get there. Decide to win the throw. Nice touch from Dan Foden on the sideline as well to take it first time straight into the mitts. Duralis. Nice work on their left-hand side. And it's well defended by Tanaka, who's played at right back at various times this season. She is mostly known for her attacking prowess, the Japanese national. 10 goals so far this season in 16 appearances. Bit of a header gone wrong by Vlanich there. She can laugh it off. On Songcam will try and chase this one down. It's played out by Lantieri Bartley. Well, Henderson got there first, but couldn't get it under control. The Royals with a throw, although these kinds of throws very deep in your own half can often be incredibly dangerous. It's not something that seems to practice a lot, especially in semi-professional environments, your throw-ins, and see how the Royals do here. Henderson is there again, but this time her header goes out on the byline, so it will be a Royals goal kick.
Speaking of Henderson and, of course, of the Nike FC Cup funnel, which will be mentioned many times this evening, she scored that absolutely brilliant goal towards the end of the game to really still put the pressure on. But, also just looking at the team sheet, no Danny Marshall for the Royals as well, which has prompted that reshuffle at the back for them. So usually wouldn't see Ristoveski start and have Lantieri Bartley. So it has been a bit of a shuffle. And, of course, with Julia Sato out injured, there's a couple of different things at play here. So interesting to see. It looks like both teams have been forced into some reshuffles in their back line.
Johnson keeps it in. Can only kick it straight to Beth Mason-Jones, who just signals for everyone to calm down a little bit. To be honest, the game hasn't gotten too heated so far. Both teams still settling into their rhythm as we approach the sort of 16th minute mark or so of this match. It's a tricky one, finals, because whilst both teams want to score and get themselves on the board, you also don't want to be the team or the player to make that fatal mistake, losing the ball in midfield or making a defensive error. There's a lot more pressure in these types of games. You feel a bit freer to take more risks in the regular season, and when it comes down to these moments, sometimes you can tense up a little bit and things can get a little bit cagey.
Again, with the focal point for the attack for Preston Lions, of course you have Hayley Johnson, who finished an equal second in the Golden Boot race, but they have so many goal scorers who've scored multiple goals throughout the season. So, losing that ball in a dangerous position for the Royals, while Preston have so many people who can score for them.
There's another one of those goal scorers, Lamont, who wasn't able to get that ball under her control. Of course, Susan Fonsongcam, we know her quality. Georgia Henderson has been known to shoot them from long range, only scores bangers, so she'll be hoping for one of those tonight for Preston's sake. But even on the bench, Ellie Vlaming scored 3. There's so many attacking options for Preston. You compare that to the Royals, who scored a lot fewer goals across the regular season. Of course, none of that matters tonight. It's all about what they can produce tonight. That's a lovely touch around the defence. A shot from the tight angle. A spill from Hay Horrison. Still on here for the Royals. The flag is up on that far side. It was Emma Robers. The Red Sea seems to part for her. She had a great opportunity. It was a tight angle. Hay Horrison couldn't hold on to it. It was the bullets of a shot. And in the end, Preston just about survive.
Increasing pressure. Really the first dangerous shot we've seen so far in this game. And of course, quite a few players on the pitch have had A-League women experience. Emma Robers is one of them. So great to see some dangerous attacks starting to play. Both teams really starting to get hungry while they're pressing forward.
Vlanich, throw taken quickly. Stebsky herring after it and manages to keep it in. It's rebounded. Duralis back to Amia. But eventually it is Tanaka for Preston who comes away with the ball. A real opportunity on the break here. The Mont. Look at that pace. Johnson tearing central. She's got Fonsongcam as well if she can find her, but she can't beat the defender. That's fantastic defending there from Essendon. There's a little bit of a disagreement breaks out on the sideline. Dan Foden just making the polite point to Vince Battiato that the referee has been quite lenient with fouls tonight. Nothing serious in that. Both teams have immense respect for each other. Certainly came out in the Football Victoria preview. They came out throughout the week. Maybe one to watch at half-time. Now Preston, an opportunity of a corner of their own. Of course, this is such an obvious point to make, but you really get the sense, Georgia, that the first goal here will be really, really important.
It's a deadlock that's been waiting to be broken at this point in time, and it's just, I'm actually curious. I expected both teams to have scored early. We know they can and are capable of scoring quite early.
Nishimura with the corner in, headed away by Smith. It'll come back out to Preston, who will have the opportunity to have a second bite at it. Fonsongcam goes for glory. Well, it was dipping for a moment, but not enough. Well and truly over the crossbar. And Beth Mason-Jones will have the goal kick.
I think that's what's going to take at the moment to break this deadlock, so to speak. We're going to need something special. Teams haven't really been able to work the ball towards goal as much. I think maybe we need someone to hit it from long distance, really go for that banger. And we're in finals. Why not? You spoke about it earlier, Taryn, potentially won't see as many risks, but maybe a risk is required at this point.
Shimura, 1-2 with Johnson and a strike from distance. Mason Jones was worried. Had to go for the dive to cover that far post. She is another player, Nishimura, who is capable of a strike from distance. We've seen her do it so many times, either from set pieces or from open play. A real technical master of the game. And that goal kick is intercepted by Johnson. That is the last player you want in that position. Tanaka will reel it in. Put the ball in towards the back post. It's headed on the Mont with the volley. Over the crossbar. Well, Georgia, you spoke about taking risks and, perhaps going for the spectacular. That wasn't far away.
It really wasn't. That was hit so sweetly on the volley by Lamonte. That was just a beautiful effort. Just so close to seeing that first goal of the game, and really intensity has risen here in the recent couple of minutes as well. So we've seen the Royals goal be peppered from attacks by Preston. I feel like we're just moments away from that first goal being scored. Which team? It could be either.
You feel like the Royals are probably the team that benefit more from an extended stalemate. In saying that, we speak so much about Preston's attacking record, and you try and contrast that with the Royals. I mean, Preston have only conceded 2 more goals in the regular season than the Royals. It's not so much of a defensive difference. The Royals have just proven that they've been able to grind out results with small margins. I mean, their goal difference is 8. They finished 3rd, and their goal difference is 8, which is remarkably small. It is much fewer than the other teams in the top 4. So, as the longer this game stays at 0-0, you feel like it just gives the Royals more and more hope and more momentum to get that goal that clinches it. Here come Preston. Tanaka, good ball to the back post. Mason Jones not able to claim. Is cleared by Rampal. That could have easily spilled for the Mont. Essendon living life dangerously at the minute.
Well, I really thought that was just going to fall to the path of a Preston attack. They're averaging 3 goals a game at the moment. So, when we're talking about how many goals they're scoring as well, it's quite a few in each match. But really thought that was going to be the opportunity there. It just spilled by Mason Jones, but really expertly backed up by her teammates.
Just a glimpse of TJ Vlanich's competitiveness there. You could hear her very clearly yell every time as the ball was passed around. Young Rustevsky, only 16 years of age. She's got so much experience to come. That's a nice touch from Lamont to bring it down for Fonsonkamp, and Preston will build up again. Johnson. Out wide. They've been doing this regularly, Preston. Tanaka, we've seen another ball. Johnson is there. It's come off Jurcic. It was Henderson, rather, who was central for that opportunity. Tanaka picks up the ball again. Clearance only as far as Miri Nishimura, who strikes. Just wide of the post once more. And Preston Lions are beginning to flex their muscles.
They absolutely are. And again, we've also seen Vlanic switch back to the fullback position, allowing Ristevesky go up forward. I think that's smart in terms of you just want someone with that little bit more experience in the defensive line, considering what we've seen from Preston in the past 5 minutes. There have been some remarkable strikes. I'm so surprised that they're just going wide each time. Again, it's these shots from distance that have been worked so well from Preston. It's just a matter of time.
Beginning to turn the screws now from Fonsonkamp. Up that far side, sees the ball taken out for a throw. Lamont can't hook it to a teammate. Kendra Smith's ball, intercepted by Talevski. Nishimura comes out for Lamont, appeals for handball. Instead, Mason Jones will claim. Not really able to get it out of their own half at the moment, the Royals. And still the Royals, they've had moments in this game where they've looked the most likely. Preston having a little moment now. Can the Royals capitalise? Look at this pace from Ava Grober. Trying to make something happen in transition. Preston forced to play it out for a Royals throw. This is the first chance in a little while that the Royals have had to put an attack on of their own and maybe just build some momentum back. There's that cross hooked in. Amia was lurking, but Preston's defence able to get there in time. Henderson now up to Johnson. Hayley Johnson, Fonsongkham. Susan Fonsongkham driving forward, and that ball well beyond Henderson into the path of Mason Jones.
Yeah, first time we've seen an attack from Essendon in a while. Now pushing forward again through Vlanich.
The experience of Checker able to get there and cut the ball out. It's the subtle things with defenders of quality. It's the positioning. It's things that are less obvious when you're watching a game, but your ability to be in the right place, right time. Some of the best defenders in the world are the ones who aren't really noticed. That's a nice ball from Fonsongkham. Johnson will get there first, ahead of Lancieri Bartley, but that time Lancieri Bartley able to play it out for a throw. Tanaka looking for a way past Vlanich. Can't find it. Dan Foden urging his players into the penalty area. Johnson won the header from the throw, but could only direct it out of play. So Mason Jones, well, would have had the goal kick, but she's gone to grounds here, the Royals keeper. Well, this could be a huge moment if this is something serious. They've got 20-year-old Eloise de Ruyter on the bench, but Mason Jones, arguably the best goalkeeper in this competition, been with the Royals since State 1, and their back-to-back promotions. Is currently on the deck seeking physio attention. This does not look good, Georgia.
It really doesn't, and we have seen her quite a lot this season let her centre-backs take the goal kick. So looks like she's getting some attention to that left leg. So this could really change the game in its head if we are forced to see a keeper sub so early in the game. We're barely at the 30-minute mark. We haven't seen a goal. There has been some pretty remarkable efforts from Preston from distance. Looks like both teams really taking the time to have a quick chat and regroup as well. Curious to see, how this will play out. Of course, the winner of whoever's in this game next week will go on to play the game that's happening tomorrow as well. So there is Bulleen Lions taking on Heidelberg at the Venator Club.
Of course, that game will be an exciting matchup as well, but Mason Jones, she's getting strapping to her left hamstring or quad just above the knee. She hobbled a little bit when she got to her feet, so it looks like this strapping will allow her to continue. Of course, for those unaware, goalkeepers don't need to leave the pitch when they receive physio treatment because of the nature of their position. That would be you'd see some mad dashes from the sideline if that was the case.
I think you also see a lot of players trying to purposely minor injure keepers just so that they would be off the pitch for a while. But it does look like she's going to remain in the game. So that would be a sigh of relief for the Royals and their fans because of how important she's been, not as like you said, Tara, not only this season, but in their back-to-back promotions to get them here to the NPLW and now to NPLW finals.
Well, she's giving her teammates a little nod, so she's okay to continue. Looks very proppy on that leg, though. Well, we'll see how this plays out in terms of goal kicks. She will allow Jurcic to take that one. In saying that, for all of Preston's pressure, she hasn't really been forced into a major save. We haven't seen her at full stretch or anything of that nature. It remains to be seen how she'll go in those circumstances. Here are the Royals in possession, though. Rustevski. Smith in the middle. Her pass goes astray. Tanaka. Henderson not able to hook it around to the intended target of Johnson. Vlanic's ball. Doralis chasing it down. The referee ruling that she fouled Jade Feeks in the process. Another disagreement on the sideline ensues. Very friendly, of course.
Just plenty of conversations between two coaches that we know are quite vocal on the sidelines, but we also know how much these players love their respective coaches. You know, in the lead up, all the signings for the Royals this season, spoken about one of the major reasons why they've signed have been Vince, and he's just been announced as the coach of the Victorian side in the upcoming battle against Queensland. But of course, you know, Dan Foden has such a... The players cannot speak high enough of the culture at Preston Lions from him as well. So very vocal, but very well loved and supported by the players.
Well, here's Grober taking the ball away from Harrington. And Emma Checker is there to intercept. Lamont can't get past Rampal. We'll have another opportunity to perhaps whip a ball in for the Royals. Instead, it'll go out for a Royals throw. Checker again there to intercept. Grober trying to keep it in, can't do so. It's interesting, Doralis, who is the point of the Royals' attack tonight. It's her 9th start of the season tonight. Only scored 2 goals in the whole regular season, which by her standards has not been a very productive one. As Vlanic gets a touch on that ball, but not able to get it all the way through Preston's defence. Jade Feeks was there to clear it away. I mean, I guess it does speak to the differences between the two sides. Regardless, the Royals know that when that clear-cut opportunity comes, and you'd imagine it will come for them at some stage in this game, they have to be clinical and they have to put it away. But, you know, their top goal scorer in Audrey Osler, 13 goals for the season, significantly their top goal scorer, was not able to start and was carrying this injury. So it's going to have a massive impact on the way that they attack tonight.
Absolutely. And back on Doralis, she scored 10 last season for Calder. Unfortunately, couldn't play for Western United in the A-League Women because she was carrying that back injury.
Here's Smith driving into the box. Doralis is there. Doralis, heroic defending by Preston. Emma Checker there, but now a shot from distance deflected. Gray Horrison can claim. Well, Emma Checker, she's come up big for Preston a couple of times already tonight, and on that occasion preventing Doralis from getting the clear shot away. That was outstanding. Here we go up the other end. Lamont taking the ball in her stride. Got no targets in the middle, so she'll happily take the corner. Well, it's getting breathless at the moment.
It was so quick, was the transition from Preston there. I think really smart to get it out of harm's way as quickly as possible, but also I want to sing the praises of Harrison as well, to be able to track back and change direction after that deflection to actually safely gather the ball. Massive save. Massive save from the youngster.
Miri Nishimura Standing over this corner. Headed away. At the first time of asking, Talevsky thought about taking the strike. Instead, will play it back to maintain possession. Run forward from Harrington. Now out wide, Lamont. He's onside. Whips in a ball. Mason Jones, well, gathered it in the end. That's the first test we've seen since she went down for that physio attention. She's on her feet and looks okay.
Also, we'll just have to contest with the wind picking up here as well at BT Connor Reserve. We've had, quite windy conditions here, but I feel like it is coming in waves.
The wind is a goalkeeper's worst nightmare. It can really wreak havoc, especially from set pieces. You get anxious around corners. You don't quite know where they're going to go. Here's a free kick from the Royals from just inside their own half. Doralis does well. Vlanic. Stevsky. Intercepted by Tanaka. Claims both ways. And Preston do win the throw. Looked for a moment as if that ball would come through to Henderson. It has now. Georgia Henderson couldn't find her feet though. So the Royals throw a me up. They made Tanaka getting there ahead of Vlanic, but Vlanic manages to keep it in. Plays it off Tanaka and wins her side a corner. So as the wind does pick up, it's an opportunity for the Royals. A very good opportunity at that.
As we're less than 10 minutes of regulation time in this opening half, we've seen two very decent, dangerous attacks from the Royals, really keeping up with the pace, letting Preston play the ball around a lot, but now coming for it.
Corners delivered in. Headed away at the front post. Lamont trying to chase it down. Great touch from Amia. Another ball in, a diving header from Doralis. Couldn't quite get the connection ahead of Tanaka. Now Preston being urged to drive forward in transition. Harrington playing it forward for Fonsongkamp. Mason Jones has work to do. Gets there first and clears it into, well, the equivalent of row Z on the roof there of Preston's clubhouse.
I wonder if that's also a really smart play from Preston to really try those attacks and invite Mason Jones to come out. If they know that she's carrying that injury, try and beat her for speed at least, or they can try and work the ball around her at the very least.
And they certainly do have a lot of pacey options up front. Lamont, we've seen her, Fonsongkamp. The women's experience with Western Sydney Wanderers and Perth Glory. And the pace of Tanaka as well. Haven't really seen her on the end of anything just yet, but it is something that will reveal itself as the game goes on. Space opening up in midfield for the Royals. Nishimura loses out to Ristevsky. Making sure that the youngster can't go any further. Assessing her options. Nishimura recovered well. Now Tanaka. They'll look to break quickly every time, Preston. That's good defending from Lantieri Bartley on Lamont. It's a nice crowd building in the grandstand for tonight's semi-final fixture. Preston letting their juniors off training early so they could come and watch this match. Hopefully one that's a historic occasion. Of course, they saw their side in the Nike FC Cup final not too long ago, but the first ever NPLW Grand Final would be a huge moment for this proud club. Of course, a long history as a football club with big ambitions now as well, as Lancieri Bartley hoofs that away from Lamont.
And of course, even getting bigger and bigger with their men's side getting promoted to the men's NPL for next season as well. But just really curious, last week in the Alamein Royals game, we saw the far side of what's on your screen with Rampel and Grover combining to do most of the attacks. We're seeing the opposite this week. So they've really changed the avenue going towards goal.
Perhaps identifying a weakness in Preston's defence. I mean, Tanaka there, while she has defended quite well tonight, she is more of an attacking player, and it's been a conundrum for Dan Foden to solve. So Henderson picks that ball up and can't find Johnson.
I wonder if it's identifying a weakness or it's just how good Harrington's been on Grover. She's not letting her have an inch. Every time they've come back for a ball, especially when they're battling out in the midfield, she's been right on her, really cutting off any runs, cutting off the ball from reaching her feet. So I think that's what's been really impressive to me because of how much we saw Rampel and Grover combine last week. We just have not seen any of that tonight.
Well, as we approach the end of regulation time of this first half, I imagine there will be a couple of minutes added on due to that stoppage for Mason Jones's injury. Still scoreless at BT Connor. Of course, if it remains scoreless at the end of 90 minutes, we will be going to extra time, and if it remains scoreless after that, we may well require penalties. Both sides will be hoping it doesn't come to that. Rustevsky, Vlanic, Smith, Talevsky took a swing at it, didn't quite win the ball back, but Fonsoncam did. And now that ball in behind for Lamont, testing Mason Jones again. He's able to get there and clear it away once more. The banter on the sidelines is something else. You can almost create your own little mini-series, the adventures of Vince Baniano and Dan Foden.
Honestly wish that we also had them mic'd up for this evening. I think that would really provide some extra comments and special comments.
Both great characters of Victorian football. Vlanic audibly swearing as that ball didn't go where she wanted it to go. And Preston eventually win the ball back. Maybe one last chance for either side before the half-time break. That's a lovely ball from Nishimura to Tanaka, as the fourth official indicates 2 additional minutes. How about that skill from Tanaka? Playing it out to Lamont. Lamont, perhaps inspired by her teammate, trying to get it past Lancieri Bartley one-on-one, can't do so.
I would love to see Fong Song Kang get the ball in a position where she can show off more of her technical ability, just because I felt like we just would love to see her more advanced and actually be able to do something. I just don't feel like we've seen too much of that just yet in this game. We've seen a lot of great work, especially from Lamonte with her speed, but we'd love to see some. We saw Fong Song Kang, of course, score in that Nike Cup final. She also scored both goals last week. So we'd love to see her get her name on the score sheet again tonight.
Nishimura whipping in a ball, comes out to Henderson. Well, I don't think she knew much of it, but it came very close to squeezing in under that crossbar. I don't think any part of that was intentional from Henderson, but that's probably the closest that Preston have come.
It really was, and of course it could be a captain's goal, it doesn't matter in the end, but we are, steadily approaching that halftime whistle and still at the deadlock. Haven't really seen that from these two teams so far this season, so interesting to see, what's going to happen, what team's going to come out firing afterwards, but of course, wouldn't it be lovely to go into that halftime sheds leading your team 1-up in a semi-final?
Perhaps Preston will have one more opportunity to do just that. Lovely ball from Tanaka, searching for Johnson. Hayley Johnson, can she get away here? She can. Johnson slides it home. Preston Lions get their goal that their pressure has richly deserved. And just before the halftime break, it is the home side with the 1-goal advantage.
My goodness. Well, Marie Rampel was under mountains of pressure. And, of course, if you're in a one-on situation with Hayley Johnson right on you, that's a tough ask for a defender. But, of course, Johnson, she finished equal second in the Golden Boot race for a reason. And, well, we have finally broken the deadlock here in the semi-final.
And that shows you the strengths of Johnson. She's able to win those balls in tight spaces. The American, she's so strong. And you just saw that on full display as she beat out her defender. And from there, it was a simple finish past Mason Jones. It was agonizingly slow as it trickled past the goal line, but it did get there in the end. Well, that is halftime at BT Connor Reserve. A game turned on its head by that late goal from Hayley Johnson. Preston probably had the better of the half, the better of the opportunities. The Royals, though, certainly still in this game. Raquel Durales at the centre of their attacking threats. Fiona Amia has looked dangerous, as has Emma Robers and TJ Vlanich in typical fashion. Georgia, what's your assessment of how that half played out?
Well, looking at the stats, the shots for Preston Lions, 6-3. They have had the majority of the attacks we've seen through the game. We've seen Beth Mason-Jones being forced to come out of the 18-yard box on a couple of occasions as well. With the speed of their transitionary attack, it has been, it hasn't been one-way traffic, though. We have seen quite a few instances of the Royals heading down to pepper Preston's goal, but, well, I really didn't think we were going to go to half-time with it being still 0-0. And, well, Hayley Johnson stood up where it counted and when it mattered.
Well, don't go anywhere. Still plenty to come in this all-important NPLW semi-final. At half-time, it's Preston Lions 1, Essendon Royals 0. Hello and welcome back to BT Connor Reserve for this semi-final match between Preston Lions and Essendon Royals. It is the home side, Preston, who currently have the 1-goal advantage. A late goal to Hayley Johnson, her 19th of the season. A remarkable goal-scoring season for the American has given them that advantage. Joining me in commentary is Georgia Rajic. Georgia, what have you seen from that first half, and how can the Royals get this goal back in the second?
Well, this has not been a game of complacency for either side. What I thought has been really interesting as well is, I think I touched on it briefly in that first half, we've really seen the main channel of attack for the Royals be down that left-hand side more so through Blanich and then eventually to Doralis, rather than using the Grober Rampel side, which has often been their attacking side. Whereas Preston Lions, they're really trying to go for it. It doesn't matter where they are, they will hit the ball. And we've seen some remarkable shots just go wide, but they are in the hot seat right now.
Well, it's the Royals who get us back underway in this second half, and Johnson, the goal scorer, immediately trying to win the ball back. Maybe a little bit of an uphill battle for the Royals. Of course, they've scored the least amount of goals of any team in the top 4 in the regular season with 40. You have to go all the way down to Box Hill in 7th to find another team that has scored that few. Here's Johnson. Fonsong Cam. Got Lamont in the box. Henderson as well, lurking on the edge of the area. Fonsong Cam trying to play it in behind to Miri Nishimura, but well swept up by the Royals and out for a Preston throw. Of course, that goal-scoring record, it's not so much a slide on the Royals. They've proven that they can find their way out of tough situations and narrow margins. That's certainly a good thing over the course of the season if you can do so. Preston playing a much more swashbuckling style, and they won't let up here. 1 goal they won't feel will be enough, and they'll be looking for more to try and shore up their position as this game goes on.
Absolutely, and I really can't help but wonder if we're going to see the introduction of Audrey Osler in eventually throughout this half. We obviously has been missing due to injury for the past 2 weeks, but she is their leading goal scorer, and that is what they're missing right now. So there is that opportunity for the Royals to bring on, a very important part of their attack if need be, but really what they need to try and stop right now is the ball being, predominantly in their half, because Preston is not making it easy for them.
They certainly are not, and while the head-to-head this season has been in the Royals' favour, just the last few weeks, since that Nike FC Cup final loss, you really get the sense that Preston have locked on. They're playing probably their most cohesive football of the season, right at the correct time. They had a tough run-in the end of the season, taking on the other 3 teams in the top 4, coming out with credit in all of those games. So they're battle-hardened, and they're showing that tonight. It's certainly not a done thing yet, as Fonsong Cam trying to find space. Fancy footwork from her. We know what a fantastic technician she is. Checker with space in front of her. She'll switch play out wide. Ball into Naka. A header from Smith finds its way to Mason Jones, who, for those who missed the first half, picked up a little bit of a knock requiring physio attention. She got some strapping just above the knee on her left leg. She's okay to continue. We'll see how that one plays out in this half as Doralis has the ball taken away from her by Feeks. Johnson drops Steve to gather that one. Nishimura. And check her out wide to Tanaka. being chased down by Vlanic, who never stops running. TJ Vlanic is 33 years of age, which is often when you start to see players maybe is getting on a little bit and reducing that pace. And the Royals looking for a way through, looking for that equaliser. Dangerous looking ball whipped in. Checker is there to clear away again.
I was just going to say about the TJ Vlanic talk, she is double the age of, Olivia Ristoveski, who's playing directly behind her as well.
That is an incredibly ambitious long shot from Lantieri Barley.
Almost hoping that the wind would pick up at the ideal moment, just to make it a little bit more difficult and Herrera-Orson.
Tanaka, nice turn. Johnson picks up the ball. She'll play it into midfield for Nishimura, who's got space in front of her. Miri Nishimura with the strike. Well, again, maybe a little bit less ambitious than Lantiera Barley's, but same result, out for a goal kick.
The bounce really took the pace off that. Looked like it was looking a bit more accurate initially, but you know what? Why not just bang them in from distance? There is that for Preston. They're looking just to steady up that lead. For Royals, they just need to get an opportunity to bring themselves into the game, but just have found them lacking. They're really minimal in terms of dangerous attacks throughout that first half. We saw a couple of opportunities, but nothing really that has worried Herrera-Orson, besides that one that forced the brilliant save from her, and of course the defensive work from Checker. It feels like there's such a surety in the defence for Preston that they're able to match any attack Essendon throw at them.
Fonsong Cam. Royals regain possession, but it's a nice touch in midfield by Talevski to give the ball back to a teammate in Nishimura. Harrington in behind. Fonsong Cam driving into the box. Smith with her step-by-step and takes it out for a Preston corner. Nishimura, the assigned set-piece taker for the home side. The wind going across the pitch at the minute, and they'll go short. Tanaka, always rising. Not a bad idea, though, from Preston. It wasn't far away.
It really wasn't. Again, it's just forcing those balls and also to try and put Mason Jones, we know he's an excellent shot stopper, but also just try and, catch her off guard, especially if she's nursing that injury in the upper leg. So, hey, it looks great. I can't help but feel excited for the way that Preston are going about their play this evening. This is a side who really have, one name almost written on the grand final tickets to next week. They want to make sure they're there. They want to continue their season. Of course, as a side that finished second, they have the opportunity to. They've won their home semi-final for a reason, but they really want to make sure they are through to the big dance.
Henderson. Fonsong Cam. Being harassed off the ball pretty well by the Royals. Not giving them an inch. Clever from Checker to take out Vlanic before playing the ball to Tanaka. In behind to El Talevski. Ball in towards the back stick. Fonsong Cam trying to head it into the path of the Mont. Instead, it'll come out to Harrington. Nishimura. Dangerous again. Dealt with again. Fonsong Cam. Nishimura plays it back to her, but that time too much on the ball. But again, a challenging situation for the Royals, and in this half, while it is the Royals who need the goal. It's probably Preston who are looking more likely to add to their lead.
Well, exactly that, Taryn. They just seem to be holding the ball in Essendon's half for so much of this game, both in the first and the second. We've pretty much picked up for this second half exactly where we left off in the first. And, well, Royals just don't seem to be fighting towards goal nearly as much. We've seen bits and pieces of attack, but Preston have just been smothering them defensively.
Well, we're seeing our first substitution of this evening, and it is a significant one because Audrey Osler, with her 13 goals for the season, the Royals' top goal scorer, is coming on the pitch. She replaces 16-year-old Olivia Ristevski. Osler, she has missed the last few weeks with an injury. She made her last appearance on the 10th of August, so nearly a month out, not quite. Makes her return for the finals from the bench. And Georgia, she has been such an important part of this Royals team this season. This could really change things up for them.
And it's funny, we were just talking about how Preston seem to be in the box seat at the moment in terms of with their attack. Well, this could really change things up. It's going to prompt a bit of a shuffle around for the Royals to allow that space for Osler up front. But, immediately there's a corner down their end.
Oh, she's a tall target, the 19-year-old. She's strong on the ball in a similar way that Hayley Johnson is. She's able to clear players out of her path, and she has been clinical at times, if not a little bit inconsistent, and that does come with age, as this corner is whipped in, forced to be punched away by Ray Horrison, who had 2 bites at it. The Royals still on the ball. Amia taken down, and they'll have another opportunity from a set piece. That was a dangerous corner in, and young Ray Horrison so far has proven herself up to the task in goals.
And again, Vlanic loves to whip in those corners. We saw it exactly again, like we brought it up a couple of times, that's how they scored the first goal the last two these two sides met. Ray Horrison, impeccable goalkeeping work there to prevent Olympico in a semi-final, which would have been brilliant to see. But again, such an impressive young shot stopper.
Well, it'll be difficult for her to go direct from this kind of angle. Vlanic whips it in again, a header from Osler. Not enough power on it, but you can see immediately she is the target for those set pieces with her height and strength. Just having a look at how she's pulling up, if she's maybe a little bit proppy or just not at 100% pace or fitness. She came on pretty much right on the 55-minute mark, so you imagine she's been given the clearance from the physio or the doctor for 35 minutes or so. I'm thinking quick maths, 25 minutes or so. Apologies, didn't do maths at school. But, she could be such a game changer, and we're seeing that already.
Well, we've already seen the ball go straight down for the attack for Essendon Royals. They now have that focal point. They now have a target. And they just look a bit more confident on the ball now. It feels like they've found their missing piece. Because what we've seen, possession stats remarkably for most of this game so far, is Preston just happy to stay on the ball. Essendon now getting a bit more involved, but also losing the ball there.
Here's a ball in behind for Johnson. Hayley Johnson, the opportunity to make it 2! She misses wide. She was well shepherded by Marie Rampal and Beth Mason-Jones as well. They combined to push her wide, made the angle a very, very tight one. And despite being in behind, she wasn't able to hit the target. That is a big let-off for the Royals.
And it's interesting that Marie Rampal versus Hayley Johnson was the battle that led to that first goal. Rampal just standing so strong in that physical presence that Hayley Johnson brings. So, a bit of a moment there for her to stand tall to prevent an almost certain goal from Hayley Johnson.
Lamont. Strike from distance, always rising. It's interesting in that situation because Johnson scored so many goals. We've spoken about her strengths. her strength in those situations and her ability to kind of shrug off defenders. But she's probably not the quickest Preston player, and that's obviously no slight on her. But you wonder if the likes of Lamont or Fonsongkham had been the player on the end of that, whether they would have been able to just get a couple of extra metres on Rampal and been able to direct the shot on target a little bit more. But then again, they may not have been able to bring it down in the same way. So swings and roundabouts.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because what Rampal's strength is in her speed, and that's why, that first goal, she was out, muscled, but then with this one, she was able to stand tall. So I wonder if the speed match is also the physicality match, is why they're trying to target Rampal when they're moving forward into attack. But very interesting from Preston again. So strong. We've seen so many brilliant opportunities.
And Smith just cutting off that ball. And that looked destined for a moment to head into the path of the Mont. There's been a little bit of a switch in the last 5 minutes or so. The game really opening up. The Royals still plenty of time. Still 30 minutes for them to find that equaliser. And perhaps even more. And there's been a real change in the flow of the game.
There really has. It doesn't feel like either of these teams want to stay outside in a cold, wintry night here in Melbourne to go to extra time. They want to get this done in the 90. And, the Osler difference has been apparent since the moment she stepped on. Essendon are hungry. Essendon are frenetic. They're going for it now. Some of the balls not where they're desired to be, but at least they're pushing forward.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll see the game open up even further as it goes on. If you are just joining us, it is Preston Lions with the 1-goal lead. A goal to Hayley Johnson right on the stroke of half-time. Is currently the difference between the two sides. Lamont. Good touch. She's got the overlapping run of Tanaka. Will find her. Tanaka tries to put the ball central, but is intercepted. Now Emma Robers will look to switch play. Ava Grober's run looked promising. She couldn't get there ahead of Emma Checker, who will do her best, the veteran, to keep Preston in possession. And in the end, it's gone out for a Preston throw. Fonsongkham finding space for Tanaka. Tanaka's ball can't get past Lancieri Bartley. Good spatial awareness. Checker. Royals happy to let her run into space. And, well, a dangerous error. Beth Mason-Jones has come out. And perhaps there's contact. Well, this is a huge decision for the referee to make because he's awarded the foul and the yellow card has come out. Not the red for a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It is just a yellow. But that was a severe misjudgment from Beth Mason-Jones. She came out, she called keeper loud and clear to try and clear the ball away. Henderson got there first, and she made contact on the way through.
And again, there's so many opportunities there for, I think, a stronger defensive line from the Royals to just prevent any of that from happening. But Beth Mason-Jones, we've seen Preston really try and invite her out a couple of times now. Now she's been caught off guard. And I think potentially what we're going to see is even more of this from Preston. They now have got her in the back foot. She's got the yellow. And now a dangerous spot for a free kick for the Lions to try and double their lead.
Well, Henderson probably didn't have the ball under control and was far away from goals, and That's why the red card wasn't considered. Preston with the free kick. Fonsonkam into the wall. Still going, Fonsonkam. Nice little chip over the defender, Jurcic. But Jurcic manages to get it away to Smith. Now the Royals, maybe a chance in transition. Preston Lions players getting back in time. And win another foul, much to the delight of those fans in the grandstands on that far side.
Well, we saw great support for the Lions at the Nike FC Cup, and again, great support here there tonight. Of course, a lot of the junior teams train on Friday. They changed the training times to make sure that they could get the support here, and they're here in full voice.
Nishimura's free kick. Mason Jones comes out again. Manages to get to the ball that time, although it was just as dicey. Rosler dropping deep to play it to Duralis, who was also sitting very deep. Now a long ball, searching for Grober, but it's cleared away by Harrington. Tanaka, interception. Plays it in for Nishimura. Haley Johnson is onside. Searching for Henderson. Smith got there first and cleared it out for a Preston throw.
Well, when we saw that substitution made for the Royals, it did feel like the balance of the game had changed a bit. The flow had, become a bit more even between the two sides. But now Preston up pushing and pushing. Well, we've seen them really been the dominant side for the majority of the match. Of course, it is their home game as well, but at them now in this moment, they look the side more likely to score the next goal.
Well, still only one goal in it. Still, anything can happen, and the Royals will know how quickly the game can turn on its head. Henderson does really well there. Georgia Henderson tries to get the shot away. It's blocked. And Sonkam couldn't get it past Lancieri Bartley either. Nice interplay between Fonsonkam and Tanaka. Kendra Smith makes sure that that bit of invention isn't rewarded. Audrey Osler trying to make something happen for the Royals. Here she is now on the ball again. Calm work from Smith to get that one to Grober, but Nishimura too quick for Duralis. Henderson, great turn. The ball's come to Johnson, and now Lamont. Ellie Lamont with the strike. Over the crossbar once more. She's had a few opportunities from that kind of area tonight. Lamont just hasn't been able to hit the target.
And that was great build-up play from Preston as well. Also just Haley Johnson there, the smarts to just perfectly weighted ball into Lamonte, just beautifully being built up. You can see the way they're involving all their players in attack.
Lamont brought to ground fairly heavily there by Jurcic, and we will see another yellow card produced. A late challenge from Jurcic, just the pace of Lamont getting away from her there. And again, in a night game with the chill in the air, those contact injuries hurt. We do hope it is nothing more than a contact injury. She is getting back to her feet.
Real captain's challenge by Jocic as well there, just to try and slow the play. But, 2 yellow cards now been conceded from the Royals defensively. They are the side under pressure, and it's now showing up in the referee's book.
Yeah, it was one of those challenges that kind of had to be made. I mean, Lamont was in behind if she didn't stick a boot out. And the intention was to win the ball, mind you. Ball whipped in from Nishimura. Headed away. Checker. Putting it back into the mixer. Just holds up in the wind. Tanaka. Another ball into the middle. Smith's been heavily involved. Lamont in a battle. Bodies flying everywhere, and the foul goes against Preston that time. So the Royals can take a deep breath, and they'll have the opportunity to build it up from the back themselves.
Yeah, and spoke a little bit when the first substitution for the Royals was made about, what was this shuffle defensive going to be? And it was Kendra Smith moving from that more defensive mid into the centre of defence, and she's been really solid for them since then as well.
Grober delivering a ball of quality all the way to the back post. Vlanic was there. I think it was Tanaka on that side who swung a boot at it, trying to get it away. Well, that could have gone horribly wrong for Preston. In the end, it's bounced very kindly into the gloves of Ray Horrison. I mean, there were multiple ways that could have gone wrong. She could have missed the ball entirely. She could have collected Vlanic, and that would have been a penalty or worse. Really got away with one there, Preston. And that's how quickly the game can change while it remains 1-0.
And isn't that why we love this game exactly? It can just completely change on a dime with moments like that as well. But again, I am so impressed from the work of Ray Rosen this season, and just ability to just quickly get in the air and try and just bring that ball safely, when especially you had 2 players like Vlanic challenging her aerially after that mistimed bounce.
Robers. Mia has her ball intercepted. Henderson looking for the killer ball in behind. Lamont can't get there ahead of Mason Jones. What a wonderful ball from Georgia Henderson. Just a little bit too much on it.
Yeah, really beautiful ball. And again, inviting Mason Jones to come out every single time. Preston have decided that's, it's been their most beneficial form of attack. But it was just so delightfully awaited for her.
But now the pressure of a final begins to build, because, again, Preston, for all that they've had the better of the chances and the dominance of the game, they're still only 1 goal up, and the Royals have not been out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Here's another chance, though, for Johnson. You can't beat Jocic. Crowd up in arms, thinking that was a foul committed. It looked like a 50-50 challenge from where we're standing. And the Royals. Duralis can't beat Feeks to the ball. And now another chance for the Royals to whip in a ball. Instead, it'll go out for a Royals throw.
Some movement on the Essendon Royals bench as well. Looks like Danny Marshall is getting ready to come onto the game. So a defensive change there for them. She's been pretty solid in defence for them this season, and of course been actively involved. Had, of course, a short AFLW career. So, we know that she is an elite athlete across multiple sports.
Ball whipped in, appeals for a handball, for a corner. Eventually the Royals get one of their wishes as it's gone out for a corner. We've seen one dangerous set piece already this half that Ray Horrison had to deal with and did so well. But another opportunity from the Royals, and It'll be Ava Grober running over to take it. Players lining up in the box. Looks like Royals crowding at the back post, putting lots of pressure on Trey Horrison. Ball whipped in. Lamont able to head it away. Still Lamont now. They'll look to break as quickly as they can here. Cries of send it. And why not? Fonsoncamp chasing this one down. Mason Jones, though, that time had control over the ball. Henderson trying to win it back, but the Royals now have full control again. Grober. Back to Smith. A no-nonsense footballer, Kendra Smith. She's been good. And she's been called upon in a defensive capacity today. Amia. Lovely ball down the middle for Osler. Audrey Osler turns, takes the strike. Just slides wide of the post. And that's what she can do. She's a poacher, Audrey Osler. And we'll see two more changes now for the Royals. It's Danielle Marshall coming on as Georgia flagged, and also Philomena Delic. The players coming off. Riona Amia. And also Marie Rampal. So interesting changes. As Georgia flagged, Danielle Marshall, the dual code athlete. Played AFLW. Actually played for the Royals back in 2021 in State 1. Came back this season. Hasn't missed a beat. She's been good. And she's been in the back line. And then Philomena Delic joining the Royals last year. 6 starts this season. She's come off the bench in this semi-final to try and make a difference, to help her side get this goal that would send the game into extra time, or again, still time for more if the Royals can pull that off.
Well, Delic was one of their top scorers in the VPLW last season. So again, another player who can score. They've really gone to their bench for attacking options when it matters. And I guess a lot of attacking prowess from two of their substitutions made so far.
I mean, taking Graham Powell off, I think, is an interesting change. And you wonder whether maybe she's carrying a knock or something like that. It doesn't seem like something you'd make just for the sake of it. Unless Vince Badiato thinks that Danielle Marshall can maybe add something in a set-piece sense. It also seems like they've gone to a back three, the Royals. So a 3-4-3 perhaps in effect, with Delic up top, with Osler and Duralis just in behind, as Duralis concedes a free kick due to a handball.
Yeah, that was the interesting part of what we've just seen from that substitution. So really, I think potentially as well, just try and get a bit more physical presence when you're having against a player against Hayley Johnson. We've seen what she's been able to do. Will be interesting to see how they try and match for speed, though, because, you know, Marie Rampal's great strength is her speed in defence. So, you know, got to be aware of those balls coming in from Preston from here on out. But again, you know, Vince Badiano going to the bench to try and really make those big changes to make a difference in this game, because they haven't been able to break the deadlock yet. They've only not scored in one game so far this season. They really want to get on the score sheet now.
Well, just over 10 minutes of regulation to go, plus stoppages. Not quite last chance saloon for the Royals just yet, but it's getting closer to that time. And that has likely prompted the changes from Vince Badiato. No changes yet from Dan Foden and Preston.
Well, with what you've seen from Preston so far this season, what would you expect any of these changes happening at this point in time, or would you reckon they'll be more likely to see this 11 play the full 90 through? They've got the upper hand at the moment. They seem to be controlling most of the game. Is there a need for a change for the Preston Lions?
I don't expect we'll see any changes defensively as Lamont tries to hunt down that ball. I think if there is a change, we might see the likes of Ellie Vlamink come on just to add some fresh legs. I mean, maybe Molly May Ramsey, she's usually seen at fullback or wingback, but I can't really see big changes to the structure for Preston. It might just be a case of a little bit of rotation as we approach the end of the 90 if they are still 1 goal to the good. Henderson's ball defended away. Lamont chasing that one down, gets there ahead of Jurcic. Still Lamont. Good defence from the Royals captain, preventing Lamont from making that run into the box. And, well, that time the Royals give away the foul. Doralis is the player. I have no idea who just yelled that, but someone on the pitch just said, "We're killing each other, relax." So I'm not sure whether that's indicative of the blood pressure rising on the pitch at the moment.
I was really trying to figure out that as well, because it really could have been anyone on either team.
Free kick delivered in dangerously. It's come all the way to the Mons, who can't wrap her boot around it. She had a similar kind of opportunity in the first half where it fell to her on the volley. That time, the half volley, and just didn't bounce in her favour enough for her to get control over that shot.
Yeah, defensively flicked off the head of one of the Royals defenders and just fell into her path, but then again just couldn't find the right technique to wrap her foot around, like you said, Taryn. But again, some beautiful opportunities for Lamont today. Really impressed with some of the work she's done, especially in creating some of these attacks.
Close control from Nishimura. Ball over the top, searching for Johnson. Mason Jones can claim. And that ball very easily intercepted. Danielle Marshall, the substitute, with that pass. Preston still on the ball, searching for that second. Well, we've seen a lot more of Marshall since she's come on than Delic. Not really any comments on the way that they've played, just the nature of the game. Philomena Delic up there as a central striker has barely seen any of the ball. That could be about to change. Grober couldn't control the interception, and audible frustration from the Royals players now. Smith. Emma Robers hasn't really stamped her mark on this game. A player of her quality, she can take it up another level. Grober tries to spin away from Harrington, wins her side a throw instead. And we will see a couple more substitutions for the Royals. Emily Sutcliffe is one of the players coming on, as is Kat Goff. And she can certainly change a game with her pace. The players coming off the pitch. Raquel Doralis is one of them, who's making her way off now for Sutcliffe, and Ava Grober is the other. So 2 attacking changes from Vince Battiato, perhaps a last roll of the dice. And Kat Goff really is a wild card. She's rarely played this season, only 8 substitute appearances, but she's had a long history in the NPLW Victoria competition. She became famous for her pace and her ability to get in behind, her physical strengths. Perhaps, so many coaches over the years hoping that that touch would come with it. And that conversion, well, if she can pull it off tonight, the Royals will be very happy about that as Osler tries to find an opening and fouls Nishimura in the process, receives a yellow card as well for her troubles. Just a late, desperate lunging challenge to try and win that ball back.
Almost felt like Osler was looking for support there, wasn't getting it for her teammates, kept trying to win ball, but then just also couldn't control that touch. In the end, just opened up for that challenge, which was immediately yellow card. But interesting as well with the substitutions being made, those fresh legs looking. We have seen Grober and Duralis being made come off at these times in recent weeks. Just, I guess, Vince Badiato wanting to get those fresh legs on, really challenge an attack. But I do think Royals play a bit more stagnant football without Duralis in particular on the pitch. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to be consistent and hold up play.
Well, here's our first look at Goff this afternoon. Trying to get past Harrington. It's good work from Harrington, though, to hold the speedster off. The Royals, though, win the throw, being urged to take it quickly by their coach. Well, a long throw set up is about to occur. Ball launched in and cleared away. First time of asking. Such an underrated set-piece long throws. You can really make a difference if you have someone that can launch it long. Again, it's not something that clubs practice a lot at this level. Instead, it's taken short. Goff again. Get it in there is the cry from Vince Badiato, and why not? Maximum danger levels if possible. Goff launching it in. Oh, it's hooked around by Delic. Player's gone to ground, and well, that fell almost perfectly to Vlanic. She got a good amount on it, but straight at Ray Horrison, who was positioned well, took it cleanly. And Preston survive that Royals foray.
Well, great call from the coach there to just, really bring that ball in long, because that was when we've seen, an actual opportunity from the Royals. Again, great positioning from Ray Rawson. Just happens the ball from Vlanic goes directly to her. But again, young keeper, just so in control of this game. I'm really excited for her future to come.
She's done really well today, Ray Horrison, but there could be tests on the horizon. Sutcliffe can't get it past that Preston defence. Still no substitutes on the offing from Dan Foden. Real contrast to the Royals, who have emptied their bench. Header away from Henderson. Was on her own. Ellie Lamont. Oh, fantastic work from Lamont to get past Marshall in a push and shove match. And Danielle Marshall will receive a yellow card as a result. She could not let Lamont past her because she knew that if Lamont did get past her, there was an opportunity on, again, similar to the Mason Jones chance. She was too far away from goal and wasn't really heading towards it, so red card never in question. But Marshall, she had to make that challenge.
Is that the third time now we've seen an Essendon Royals player commit a professional foul, so to speak, get a yellow card just to stop the run of Ali Lamont? Because Beth Mason-Jones, Michaela Djuricic, and now Danny Marshall.
It speaks to the pressure that Preston are applying. They've got 4 players back, but they'll still whip in this ball, and it'll still cause some problems for the Royals. You can see what both teams are thinking, though, because look at this setup. Royals players still streaming forward as quick as they can. There was 4 Preston players back for that set piece, which you would never see in normal play, and 4 Royals players up. So both sides know now that these last few minutes are crucial. The Royals doing everything they can to get this goal back and send this game into extra time. And Preston doing everything they can to hold on. Osler not able to win the ball with that challenge, and she's brought someone to ground in doing so.
Osler almost went completely horizontal to the ground when she went up in the air with that ball. So unfortunate for Preston there, but has gotten up all fine. So also again that call from Badiano from the coaches area to just say Goff to go for that long throw. So you expect to see much of that similar attack we saw from the Royals just before.
Well, that was Oltalewski. She's fine. She's back on her feet and she's heading that ball away. Henderson took a little bit of an air swing. It's come out to Kendra Smith, who can't control it. Gets it that time. We've seen 4 minutes of stoppage time signalled by the 4th official, Vlatko Trajčevski. So 4 minutes for the Royals to stay in this match, to get that goal that they need to send this game into extra time.
Can the Royals keep their season alive? 4 minutes. It's a long time in football. We saw how long that last period of injury time went in the first half because of the goal Preston Lions scored. Are they going to be able to create some magic now?
Well, she might shoot here, Vlanic. TJ Vlanic eyeing this off. She does shoot. Vlanic for the top corner. It's gone over. And a mighty cheer goes up among Preston Lions fans because that is one more attack repelled. Ray Horrison will take her time. It's often the sign of an experienced keeper when they need to do their shoelace up and all sorts of things go wrong. But she got that ball back pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah. There's some good value in wasting time, but I wasn't sure if it was Essendon Royals fans delayed cheering, but definitely was the Preston support once they realised it curled over. Dangerous ball from Blanich.
Osler can't get in behind Nishimura. Doing her defensive duties very well. And again, more applause from the Preston fans. They are tuned in to this game. They know that every time the ball goes out of play, it's another precious few seconds off the clock. Things are real tense now. Osler can't get past Von Songcam, doing her defensive duties. All hands on deck for Preston. The only Preston player who's staying forward is Lamont, but even she is dropping deep now. Osler can't control the ball. It's played on to Smith. Kendra Smith, maybe she'll have a go herself. Could have been an awkward bounce for Ray Horrison, but she judged it well again. We've seen glimpses this season of Ray Horrison, but as any 17, 18-year-old goalkeeper would, she's also made mistakes. But this game, she has not only held her own, she's looked in command, and it's a game that she should be incredibly proud of, a breakout game for her, with 1.5 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Smith. Dangerous looking ball. It's gone over Rober's head and cleared away at the back post by Tanaka. Smith again will try and send it into danger. Sutcliffe picks it up. Emily Sutcliffe goes for glory. Ray Horrison claims. Preston holding on for dear life. It's incredible how much a game can change in the last 5-10 minutes when there is a 1-goal margin like this. You would never catch Preston playing like this in any other scenario, but they know they've just got to hold on, and they're in. For the Royals, they've got to find a way through. Marshall. Sutcliffe. Can she get on the ball here, Sutcliffe? She'll play it back to Vlanic, who goes to ground and is fouled. Well, there will be a foul. There'll be a free kick just outside the penalty area. This could be the last opportunity of the game. This is a huge, huge moment. And Sutcliffe standing over the ball. Sutcliffe whips in a ball low. A shot from Vlanic, tangle of legs and cleared away. Mason Jones up very high, trying to get the ball in the box, but Preston, they hold on. It's the Preston Lions who make it through to their first ever NPLW Grand Final. It has been a season where they have looked irrepressible at times, the Lions. They fell in the Nike FC Cup final earlier in this year, and now they will have the opportunity to go one better in the NPLW competition. The Royals, well, they held on for as long as they could. They looked dangerous at the end. On another day, some of those opportunities would have gone in. But Charlotte Hay-Horrison stood tall in the Lions' goal. And it is Preston, thanks to that late first half goal from Hayley Johnson, who come up with the win. Georgia, what a game.
What a game. And again, remarkable from both teams. You think about their journey to this moment. Essendon Royals, back-to-back promotions from State League 1 to VPL to unfortunately go out in the semi-final in their first season in top flight. But Preston Lions, in their second season, have gone through to a grand final after making the Nike FC Cup final. Remarkable for them. Just brilliance all over the pitch from them. Not a single substitution made to that same starting 11 from the first whistle to the final whistle. And you can see why Dan Foden had faith in this side. Brilliant from the young keeper in Ray Rorison. Well, you know, the A-League Women is starting soon. You can hope that she's going to get a train on at least somewhere, get in that environment as a youngster, especially a keeper. But, you know, Hayley Johnson, remarkable with the ability to score. And, of course, I'm really impressed with what Lamont did this evening as well. Was dangerous attack, pretty much caused 3 separate Essendon Royals players to get yellow cards in professional fouls from her. But, of course, it will be goodbye to the Royals, but a remarkable first season for them in top flight football.
An incredible season for the Royals. Again, as Georgia mentioned, they're first in the NPLW Victoria. They're in a huddle now. Vince Battiato, no doubt saying how proud he is of them and how proud they should be of their season. But it is Preston who go marching on next week. They will take on either Bulleen Lions or Heidelberg United. You won't want to miss that semi-final. That's at 3 p.m. tomorrow on the Football Victoria YouTube channel. But for now, it is a thank you very much for joining us in our coverage of this semi-final. My name is Taryn Haddo. I've been joined by Georgia Rajic at full-time at BT Connor Reserve. It is Preston Lions 1, Essendon Royals 0.